Let us look at the next rung or the second rung on the ladder of happiness. We call it the mental happiness. As you will understand, we are moving from the gross body where the sense object resided and where we talked about sensory happiness, which is basically the using the body. And now we are coming to the mental happiness where we are talking about the main function of the mind, which is about emotions. Now, when we talk about emotions, uh, it has been proven through research that there was a longevity research being done by Harvard, and in that they found out that the main thing that improved longevity, according to the longitudinal study done through a lot of cases, is that these people had a good social companionship. They had good relationships, and that is what made them live longer as well as live healthier. So there is a lot of research on this, and therefore I think it is at the higher level than the sensory happiness. That when, and it's a very natural thing to see that when you put any group of people together, there is a tendency for people to want to belong to a community. So the feeling of belongingness is very natural to the mind. Everybody wants to belong to a particular community, to a particular society, to a particular state, or whatever it is. Languages bind, religions bind. So it's all about trying to find something common by which you can call yourself a part of some community. And that is important because it gives you a feeling of belongingness and a feeling of security and safety, saying that I belong to this, and you feel psychologically secure and safe when you belong to a particular community. And I think that's the basis of any kind of a religion or a cult or a group. Even I would say, even somebody who says I don't believe in religion is also a community. There are people who call themselves atheists and non-believers. They also belong to a particular community and they connect with each other. So this feeling of belongingness is very, very natural. The next is that, having somebody really close to you who understands you very well, it gives you a very different kind of a mental happiness. That means there is this, again, it's a feeling of psychological safety, it's a feeling of security, it's a feeling of a good feeling of somebody having your back in terms of crisis, because you know that this person is very close to you and you can rely on this person. So having this love of near and dear ones is such an important aspect of feeling happy mentally. And then comes the next part is like, the bonding with colleagues, whether working in office or in any community. How well are you able to engage with the people? How are you able to communicate? How are you able to connect with them? Now, this kind of healthy connection and bonding with colleagues and people around you, it increases the level of happiness. So it's all about having healthy relationships with people around you, whether it is the near and dear family, or it is the colleagues, or it is distant family, or it is anyone you find in the world. The way you connect with people is something that is bound to give you a state of happiness, which is at one level higher than the sensory happiness that we talked about. Now, how do you actually get into this state? It's very important for us to understand that there are simple ways of ensuring that we can reach this state of mental happiness. It's just a question of having the right attitude towards what we are getting in this world, or towards looking at the world. Now, there are two ways of looking at this world. One is that we find everything wrong and we keep discussing about it, or we look at the things that we have, we are blessed with, and we feel good about it. Now what happens is, moment we get into this, the former part of it, saying that the world is wrong, and moment we start having those dialogues, you know what is happening is we are actually creating certain channels of thoughts within us, which could become very toxic for us in the long run. And it's not a very good way to look at life. Yes, there are some people who have a tendency to do that, and this, if they are able to direct these energies towards actually doing something, putting some action to improve the world and see the results coming, we could transform that negative thought into a positive thought. But then the better way to do it is, and an easier way to do it is, look at the things that we already are blessed with and have a feeling of gratitude, have a feeling of abundance, and have a feeling of respect for everything that is around us. When we have these things of this attitude of gratitude and an attitude of abundance and a feeling of respect for everything around us, and have a belief that the world is designed in a very beautiful way and it's harmonized in a way that everything that is happening with a particular design and a power that is ensuring that things are harmonized and working the way they are supposed to work. Whatever anomalies are happening, there are corrections also happening. These corrections are happening because of the power of the universe that is working for us. And when we look at the power of the universe, when we look at the huge mountains, when we look at the huge oceans, when we look at the huge cosmos, and we look at all the things that are in harmony around us, the way they are working, we understand that there is a larger force which is actually working to create these laws and these harmonies that are around us and ensuring that the correction keeps happening. Yes, there are negative forces playing also, but we should be focusing on the positive forces which are trying to correct those negative forces, and there is a law, there is a system which is governing this entire thing. When we look at this world in this way, it leads to all these reasons of connecting well with people, having respect for people, having a better relationship with people, meeting people and talking good about the world along with them. So the more you talk good, the more you listen good, the more you are with good people, this raises our level of happiness to a much higher level, or that's why it's called the second rung of happiness. So this is, we call it as the mental or the emotional happiness that we talk about. So this is the second rung of the ladder of happiness, which we also call the mental happiness, or we can also call it the emotional happiness. Thank you.